myself ready, mentally relaxed and ready for my next session. And so, um, while I was doing that, something came to mind when I was speaking to someone um, that used to be very close to me, and I somehow I had to talk to them. I forget how I had to talk to them. I forgot how we ran across, but I had to talk to them about something. I forgot it was what it was, but they began to, seem like they were very caring and give me a little good news about what they were doing. But it was very short, and they began to ask me, what have you been doing, and all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm good. I stayed very vague, because for the most part, I really am vague. I don't really get too much into detail unless, somebody that's really close, and we hadn't been close for like a couple of years. And also, it has to be some kind of necessity to it. If we haven't been that close for a couple of years, of course, it's not, I'm just not going to go and blurt out everything. And so this person began to hint off, like, what are you doing? All right, what are you doing with your business? What are you doing with this? Things that I hadn't told them about. And when I first started the ventures, I had it before I started the ventures, not before. I started the ventures after we had the separation. And it wasn't like an argument or anything. It was just we just stopped talking very, every day. And so it kind of, threw me back a little bit, because I was like, okay, who is connected to this person? Because for the most part, I thought I had stopped talking to most of the people that were connected to this person. But obviously, especially since I don't post a lot on social media, dealing with my projects, um, I'm very blessed to have people that really like what I do, and I stay that way. Um, Not to say that I won't do that in the future, but yeah. And we live on other sides of the state. We live in the same state, but we live on opposite sides. And so this was just like, oh, this is kind of weird. It kind of brought a little light to it. Excuse me, y'all. So I was just like, hmm. But then they started going in deeper. Tell me, what are you doing about your business? How's your makeup business going? I know you went out of town and you did this and blah. And I started saying, oh, okay. Well, I did. And then when they started asking more and they knew more about it, because they're telling on themselves, I was like, well, things were good. But when they kept going and say, oh, yeah, I know you went to Denver, I only told like 2 or 3 people. So now I know in my head, okay, I know who told this person. Now, even though I didn't tell anyone to hide or anything like that, I'm not going like tiptoe, because it's nothing that deep. But I know where the communication lines are at. And so I'm like, okay, I'm making the um and I become vague. And then the next time they ask me, oh, were you at this hotel, telling like almost the whole conversation that I spoke to the other person, I went and denied, like, no, who told you that? Oh no, I just thought it. Like, no, you don't think, like, you just don't think everything on a dot like that. That's impossible. You know, um, yeah. If most people know me, it's almost impossible, because I'm not gonna do ordinary stuff. Never, never. It's always something oddballish, and so, um, yeah. So it got me to thinking, like, okay, and they just kept prying. Not only that, they just kept prying, kept prying. And I had to think about it. And I'm like, okay, when I thought about starting this business, there were people, including this person that I was speaking to, was telling me it wasn't going to happen. I didn't have the know-how and the skills and all this other stuff, and I need to do all this. And where am I going to get the money from? Even though I didn't ask them for anything, any money or anything like that. And they knew that I had a business before, so I had history around it, all kinds of stuff. And so it got me to thinking, like, dang, you know, um, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked about how you would think that people are not thinking about you when they really are. I used to believe that there were people who did not really care about what I do or care about my well-being or anything like that. But oh, excuse me, Lord, that is far from the truth now that I see, you know. And some of these people that I thought, you know, had my best interest, they didn't. You know, I started finding out that these people, they did care, but they didn't care the way that I thought. You know, they cared enough because they want to keep tabs on you. Okay, they want to keep tabs on you, and so a lot of people will do that. They'll tell you, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. And then, you know, when you say, okay, and you don't prove anything to them, because I'm not a person, I'm not going to prove that part. If you just don't believe, I'm okay, whatever. I'm going to do it anyway. I used to tell people I'm going to do it anyway. I don't even tell people stuff like that either. You know, if I go for a job and they say you can't do something, okay. I just say, okay, and I let them be. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, but when they see you do it, when they see you going about what you said you were going to do, it frightens them to the point that sometimes these people try to keep tabs on you to wish that you fail, to try to knock you down, and then to try to tell other people that it's not that, it's not that, you know, they got to be doing something wrong to succeed. They got to be doing this and they got to be doing that, or it's not going to last long. Not knowing, because knowing me, I'll stay away. When I see you not rolling with me, or you don't have you know, the vision that I have, I'm gonna give you some space. You know, sometimes to the point of, okay, it's cut off time, like cut off. You know, if I stay really focused, you know, you can come back later maybe, you know, if you join the bandwagon, but after, you know, I still have to have tunnel vision so I can get my stuff done. And I'm not gonna wait on you. And so yeah, I noticed that with this person, because it was like, okay, and not only with that person, but I noticed that the person that I was, they only could get that information. There's only 3 other people that I told where I was at during that time when I was out West Coast, and I was out doing what I needed to do. It was only 3 people that I talked to, and there's only 2 people that talked to that person. Excuse me. Since I know for certain the other one didn't talk to him, because they're just in loops in. So I know exactly who that was. And since they're doing all that, then that means they had some other things to say about me, you know? So look at who's asking, okay? Who's asking the questions, okay? They will tell a lot, you know, because no one asks questions just not to know. Or just to know. I just want to see if you're doing good. Some people want to see you doing good, but it's going to be on a consistent basis. They're not going to go years not speaking to you and try to get so many intimate details, especially if they're not helping or supporting or doing anything like that, okay? And this person was not doing it. Like I said, they said that I couldn't make it, I couldn't do it, and I ended up doing it, you know, and been okay. Have I had some rough times? Yes, but been okay, all right? Um, So yeah, be careful about who is asking. You'll be surprised at how many people who try to ignore you, because first they'll try to say you can't do it, and then they'll say they ignore you. Sometimes they'll ignore you off the back if they feel like they're, you know, better, and that's a whole form of disrespect. But when you take your power back and you work on what you're doing, and they seeing you not fazed by them turning their backs on you, that's when they get really upset. That's when they get really upset, y'all. Okay, so um, and that's just God showing you who is really rocking for you, because during this time I can just feel it, y'all. I can feel God really restoring me back, just like He said He was. I can feel it. All right, but God does not want any of us, anybody, even if you are not a believer and you don't know God yet, the true God, the true God of heaven and earth and everything above and beneath, the true God, He would never want you to be around people and open up to people who don't believe in you, who don't push you to your goals, who don't have the best for you. Now, I'm not saying that you're never gonna be around people who don't believe in you and don't like you. No, because some of that is motivation. Some of that is tackling fuel. You know, sometimes you wouldn't even get up and move without them doggone people. Sometimes God sent those people around you just to ruffle your feathers a bit to get yourself back on track. Because sometimes we'll get real lazy. I've done that. I'm like that sometimes. You know, I'll even procrastinate to the point to where people push, then I'll go out and leap and just boom, you know, like that. And so I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is God is just revealing a lot to me. And I know this is happening to a lot of other people. He's just revealing a lot of feelings and emotionals and the people's inner hearts about me. You'll think these people rocking with you 10 toes down when in reality, they don't believe in you. They don't like you. You're just a convenience to them, okay? Or they get some kind of validation being close to you. Or meaning they might feel good because they feel like they're helping you. They're telling other people they might even be helping you. They telling other people that they helping you. You know, they might give you a meal or something, but you doing everything else. You picking them up, you dropping them off, you doing this. But on the outside, it's making them feel good because the little bit that they are doing, they're making it broadcast, look, to everybody else that they're doing so much for you. So, and it's giving them because they're trying to impress other people, and so it could be that. It could be sometimes these people feel like I literally went through a relationship like this. Like they think because they have this job, a super job, and they will compare their job and their position in life to your position in life, not understanding about the human being and about the integrity and the characteristics of a person behind that is going to show you the destiny of somebody else, because it's not just about time stamping and where you're at life. People are so confused about that because, those things can always switch. They can always switch. God is a God of order. Like God, he be doing it. It can switch at any time, but if you know the characteristics of a person, the integrity levels of a person, that's going to show a lot. That's going to show a lot about you, and so you could, God is just, it feel like just God just showing me that, and like, I'm not perfect. I'm not 100%, all the way there. And no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm great or anything like that. Just saying God is just showing me, opening my eyes, because I would be so dumb and loving and not dumb, but very gullible. And a lot of people used to say I was very gullible because I always wanted to have the best, wanted the best for people. I would give my last dime to people, and these people wouldn't even do that for me. Some of these people wouldn't even let me in their house. I had an aunt that was like that, or when I did stay with her, I told y'all about the whole situation about having lunch money. Lunch was $1.25. She would literally give me $1 each day. So, yeah, either I have to find another way to eat, or I'm not eating school lunch or something like, which was okay with me because that just motivated me to get a job. Okay, motivated me to do what I needed to do, and so, yeah. They're just opening up a lot of things. These people will gather and gather. And the higher I noticed that the more I started focusing on myself, you start moving people around, you start seeing more people. You start seeing more people for who and what they are. Because now they can't pretend. That's another thing that God was showing me. They can't pretend that you were this horrible person. You were not the horrible person that they told everybody, because you still moving. You still moving. You're not the disrespectful kid that they always said you was. I used to have that a lot too, but yeah, y'all have to, you just have to understand it. You just got to understand that and remind yourself, like, be careful who's asking, because they're not doing it for pretend or just to know, to make better. Because most of these, if that was the case, they wouldn't have put so much distance from you. Or when they saw you putting distance, they would have tried to find out why. But they didn't care because they really wasn't rocking with you like that. Okay? All right? So hopefully that helps. That helps you on your journey. Um, like I said before, if God tells you to detach from people, feel free to detach. I don't care. This tis is the season. Y'all was talking about the holiday season. Tis the season to detach from people, or sad track because somebody's whole bunch of hardships. I had to get out of my emotions